Palworld has done it. They've officially beaten Nintendo and hit a peak player count of over 900,000 players at the time of this video. When it first dropped, Palworld seemed like just another cheap Pokemon copy that was just one wrong move away from a massive lawsuit. For months, every player was holding their breath, hoping the game would survive and keep on growing. While Nintendo tried their absolute best to shut things down, Pocketpair was always one step ahead. They did things such as removing throw to summon animations as a precaution. And honestly, I'm glad they did, because now we have the game that I always hoped Nintendo and the Pokemon Company would give us. The most frustrating part is that and I'm sure most of you, love Pokemon. And it's no surprise, Pokemon is the largest media franchise in the world, sitting at a staggering $147 billion in total revenue. That crushes giants like Star Wars and even Nintendo's own cash cow, Mario. The problem stems from Nintendo's total lack of care and effort to innovate. They treat the main games almost like an afterthought, a lazy constant release cycle, kind of like Activision's Call of Duty games. Palworld dropped this into a vast open world with nothing but rags. Similar to Ark, this game rewarded you for exploration more than anything. There was technically a story, but it was more like a guide for players who wanted a clear path. I and many others chose to stop following that story soon after the game began. Instead of trying to sue for actual copyright infringement, Nintendo chose the pettiest angle possible. They attempted to sue over basic features like throwing a ball to catch a creature or riding mounts. This in turn would outlaw some of the most popular games in the genre like Ark and Monster Hunter, which is completely ridiculous seeing as those games are significantly more established and have dedicated fans who have been playing for years. But even so, over the last 2 years, Palworld built a passionate fan base with plenty of Pokemon fans among them. This motivated Pocketpair to keep pushing and updating regularly. They recently dropped their 1.0 update on July 10th, featuring some pretty ambitious designs, including Pantherless, a giant whale-like creature closely resembling a certain legendary Pokemon. Despite Pokemon being the highest-grossing media franchise of all time, their budget for their recent game, Legend ZA, had a budget only 3 times the size of Palworld. This shows that even though Pokemon has the largest fan base, they treat it like a side product. Meanwhile, games like Metroid Prime and The Legend of Zelda cost close to $100 million. Why? Because those games take 5 to 8 years to develop, while Game Freak operates on a tight 2 to 3 year cycle that doesn't allow enough time for any meaningful difference from game to game. I bet even people who pirate the game won't play the game for free once they realize how buggy and outright boring it is to sit through. Yet, Nintendo keeps making billions of dollars off these supposed next generation games due to how beloved the Pokemon franchise was. It built so many people's childhoods, whether it was the anime, the manga, the games, or the trading cards. Pocketpair decided to take advantage of Nintendo's lack of care and give us something new. It let us catch pals just like catch Pokemon, but instead of turn-based combat, your pals fight alongside you in real time. You don't even need to calculate every move. It feels like a real battle where you have to react on the go. And it wasn't just the combat either, it was what your pals could do when you weren't fighting. Instead of just sitting in a box, you put your pals to work in your base. The best part, you didn't even have to give them any basic rights. If one pal gets unhappy and refuses to work, then simply just swap it out for another. At the end of the day, Palworld and Pocketpair showed us that if you keep working and actually listen to your fans, that success will follow. It proves that Nintendo can't just keep lazing around forever, and that eventually a game made with actual passion and innovation will break through just like Palworld did. Palworld showed us that the size of the studio doesn't really matter, and that the most fun games can come from the most unexpected places. Even though its design choices were unconventional, like putting rocket launchers on a jet-shaped dragon, it still manages to be genuinely fun and worth every penny. This is especially true since they kept it at a $30 price tag even after the full release, when they could have easily increased the price.